obviously you guys probably already guessed it by some of the things I mentioned in, throughout the walkthrough of the house and everything. This isn't my house. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and we're gonna have a pretty interesting video today. It's gonna be different from other videos, and that is because we're gonna be talking about my living situation. So if you guys follow the channel, then you know that I just purchased a house. We're gonna have a house tour in the very near future. But before we go over the new house or anything in relation to it, I wanted to talk about what my living situation has been like for the last few years. And I'm making this video for a number of reasons, right? I was kind of going back and forth on whether or not I should make this video, but then you know what, I looked at the analytics and I'm like, you know what, I need to pump up those views a little bit. We got to get a little bit more ad revenue. Not just kidding. But in all seriousness, I'm hoping that those of you that are around my age, I'm 24 years old if you guys don't know, or a little bit younger, watch this video and it, I guess, gives you a little bit of motivation and maybe a different pathway compared to what people tell you to normally do, to kind of progress through life, I suppose, to where you live a comfortable life. Yeah, I'm not very good at this like motivational stuff. So anyways, we're just gonna get right into it, and I'm gonna kind of explain things as the video progresses, and so yeah, let's do it. So just like the title of the video suggests, I do in fact own $200,000 worth of trucks, and I bought these before I even owned a house. And I'm sure some of you that are more traditional from a financial perspective are probably just completely confused. You're like, why would you do that? That's stupid. You're just spending all your money. And just to go over this very quickly, these vehicles make me money. Now, I understand that you can make money in real estate, but just to quickly go over it, I ran the numbers so many times in terms of, every single time I purchased a vehicle, I would look at how much I would, have to spend into purchasing a piece of real estate, how much it would appreciate, how much rental income would make for me. And even over these last few years where, real estate has just appreciated a massive amount, I have still made more money purchasing vehicles and making videos on them with YouTube than I would have ever made with any sort of real estate purchase that I would have been able to afford given the money that I put towards the vehicles, hopefully that makes sense. So basically, with the same amount of money invested, I've made more money with the vehicles than I would have made with real estate, which I know is completely backwards and people just don't seem to understand it, but YouTube's crazy. I mean, YouTube is literally bigger than Netflix now from a revenue perspective, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, there's just so much money pumped in from so many different sources at this point that, you're just gonna see people making income from very strange things. And, it's 2022 and I make income by owning, two very expensive pickup trucks, but yeah, it's worth it. Okay, well, now that I got the thumbnail done, I have to move both these trucks and get them parked back. And then you guys can see the Ben Hardy crib that I've been living in for the last few years. And it'll be quite a shock for you guys, I assume. So we have the Raptor in its official parking space right here for the time being until I move it over to the new house, which will probably happen this weekend because I want to finally have like both of these trucks garaged. And so yeah, I'll probably be moving the Raptor down there this weekend so that one is finally inside of a garage for the first time in its life. And with the TRX, normally I'd park it out here on the curb, but I got to mention this like a million times so that people understand how stupid this is. I got a parking ticket for parking the curb, so now I got to move it over to the other driveway. So yeah, sad day. So we are in the other driveway, and you guys will probably recognize this driveway from a bunch of the reviews because when I film the reviews at the house, this is where I film them, and this is where the TRX is now going to be parked so that we don't get a parking ticket. And we are officially going to head to the Ben Hardy crib. Just wait till you guys get a gander of this. And also, I got to clean off my shoes first. It's like 20 degrees today, and I'm just wearing this little hoodie and everything. I should probably be wearing quite a bit more. I don't know if I think I've shown the basement a couple times on the channel, but I haven't really shown it all that much. So yeah, let's get into the tour. So obviously we just popped in here, and this is what is known as the Ben Hardy editing couch, is the best way to put it. You guys can see I got my little cheap mouse, and we've got the laptop that I used from PC Laptops, which isn't so cheap, but it's actually been a really good computer, way better than my last laptop, I will say that. And then we have my filming bag. This is the backpack I take to all of the dealerships to go film with. Funny story behind this backpack. Some girl that I went on a couple dates with gave this to me, and since it was free, I was like, you know what, I'm using this, I'm not going to pay for my own. The Ben Hardy motto is, if it's free, it's for me. But yeah, I literally use this couch like all the time for editing. I don't have like a fancy office or anything, it's just this couch. Also, I want you guys to comment down below in the comment section if this couch looks purple or brown to you, because it looks purple to me. It looks purple to me, but some people swear that this is a brown couch, but it, like, when I look at it, this is like purple. So I gotta, you guys gotta get that figured out. And obviously we have the famous shoe setup. We've got the old man slippers, we have the sandals, and then we have the turtle flip-flops that, of course, have holes in them. Now, I don't use these as much. These pretty much are just like a video prop at this point. I occasionally take them to the gym, to be honest, but don't use them all that much. And then I've got my tripod, all that fun stuff. But yeah, this is like the first little section right here, I guess. So I guess I want this next section to be pretty quick. We've got the kitchen here, which is actually getting remodeled. You guys can see it's right next to the couch situation. So new countertops and all that, but I don't use any of this. This is here if I want to use it, but I actually use the upstairs kitchen, so I guess I'll show that to you guys in a minute. The important thing is the room. So this is really where I've been living for like the last half a decade or so, is this specific room. So you guys can see the whole setup for the Ben Hardy show. I always have to squeeze by this couch to get through, funny enough. And we found the guy that poops in those boxes. And he meowed right on point. Anyways, this is the little light for the Ben Hardy show, and you guys probably know the setup right here with the powerlifting medals, and then the salesperson medals, and then the YouTube plaque. What are you doing, Zipper? Anyways, this is the room that it's now used as a storage room, right? Because I'm moving out. But this is the room that I have slept in for like the last 5 years or so. It's tiny. It's a very small room. I've been in people's like closets that are bigger than this room, and I mean, this is a couch for 1, 2, 3 people. So just give you guys like a sense of scale of the room. This is a 3-person couch, and you can see it takes up like half of the room pretty much. I basically had a bed right there, but I never used the bed because I actually sleep on the floor. And so I would actually sleep on the floor in that corner over there. That stuff is all there. And yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing too crazy, but yeah, I think it's just it's an interesting situation. I suppose this is where I put some like hardcore motivational stuff, but you know, I don't know. I've never been like a huge fan of that like super pseudo motivational stuff. Basically, all I have to say is like I was completely, and I still would be completely fine with living in this room and running the business how I run it and everything, because like I don't need a bunch of material things to make me happy. Yes, I have the trucks, but those are business expenses. If I didn't run the YouTube channel, I wouldn't have the trucks. And so like this is literally like how minimalist I've been, is like I've been completely okay with being in the smallest room in this house and not even like sleeping on a bed, sleeping on the floor, and having literally like I own nothing. Like none of this, like there's a few things in this room, like this little, you know, light thing that's mine, but like most of the stuff in this room isn't mine. I barely own anything like in terms of like physical possessions. And so like that's just like the mentality that I've always carried, and it's obviously helped with, you know, expanding the business and everything. But I guess after that, you know, motivational thing of, you know, not being, you know, materialistic and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, let's just get into the rest of the tour. So we officially are going to Ben Hardy's current room, which this used to be my little sister's room, but she moved out, and so this is where I've been sleeping until I move into the new house. And yes, this is literally, I'd sleep on the floor. Like, I'm not like trying to BS you guys or anything. Like, I literally sleep on the floor, and I've been too lazy to put my pillowcases back on because I've just been spending so much time working and everything. But like, I have the perfect setup. I've got the phone charger there so I can charge my phone, you know, answer YouTube comments and all that. And I've got the space heater in case it gets a little bit chilly. And yeah, this is it. This is literally how I've slept for the last few years. This is the newly remodeled kitchen, so I guess this is where I eat. But obviously this isn't my kitchen. I just use it. But it looks very pretty. You guys can see the cabinets and everything like that. And then you guys have seen this area a lot. This is Zorro's area. He's got like his own enclosure in here and his doggy bed. I mean, hey, we're floor sleeping bros, because he's got his little blanket that he sleeps on with the floor, and I do the same thing. That's why me and Zorro are such good buddies, is because we basically live the same lifestyle. But I suppose we have to get into the message of today's video, since we pretty much finished the tour. So obviously you guys probably already guessed it by some of the things I mentioned in, you know, throughout the walkthrough of the house and everything. This isn't my house. This is my mom's house. And yes, I've been living with family my entire life, and I never moved out. And I know there's going to be people in the comment section below. They're going to say that I've super immature and that I this or that. I'm sure there's gonna be things about that, but here's the deal: is I feel like the route that I took was far more mature and humble than what most people are willing to take for themselves. So I obviously could have moved out when I was about 18 years old, because that's when I started making enough money to where I would have been able to afford rent for like an apartment, or move in with a friend and move in to a room or something like that. But instead of doing that, I instead chose to take the humble route, because my mom's an amazing person, and she said, you know what, as long as you work really hard and you build towards something in the future, I won't charge you rent. And so I took full advantage of that. And obviously it made dating and stuff like that very awkward, because I'd go on dates and people would be like, wait, you own, especially after I bought the TRX, they're like, you own a $100,000 pickup truck and you live in your mom's basement and sleep on the floor, right? And so obviously that is not exactly the best way to get girls. But what it has allowed me to do is it's allowed me to scale up my business to a size that would have never been possible had I been renting somewhere. And on top of that, it's allowed me to save a massive amount of money, to where the house that I purchased, I was able to put a very large down payment on the house to make it so that the monthly payment is not crazy, obscene, or gross. And also I have a ton of equity in the house, so if anything ever happens with the economy, I kind of have like a little safety egg, or nest egg. Safety egg, I don't know. Anyways, nest egg right there. So getting into the main message for today's video, especially if you're my age, a little bit younger, even if you're a little bit older, first off, it's completely okay to live with family, especially if it's saving you money, and especially if you're working hard while you're living with family. And I need to emphasize that, working hard, because I feel like a lot of people will end up living with family and then they kind of just like, fall back, and they see it as like this, safety net for them, to where they don't have to do as much. What I have to say is, if you are in a situation where you're struggling to get by financially, maybe it's something that you should look into, but that doesn't mean that you work less. That means that you work even harder, but you have that as like a foundation. That's what I have used, living with my mom for my entire life it's like this foundation, right? Where I have this thing where I can, like, I always know that there's gonna be a roof over my head. I always know that there's gonna be, food for me to eat. And because I always know those two things, then I can just dive so deep into any particular business that I'm trying to grow, that it's allowed me to then basically scale things up, like I said, to a size that I could have never imagined prior. And so you just have to ask yourself, right? Are you doing things because they're actually gonna bring you meaning in your life and they're actually gonna set you up for the future? Or are you doing them because you're trying to uphold some sort of status, or you have things so messed up in your life that you feel like you constantly have to have all these material things for you to feel any sort of semblance of happiness? And if that's the case, right, take a step back and reorganize things, is what I'd have to say. I think this video has already gone on for way too long, so we're pretty much going to cap things off for today's video. But seriously, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, look at what your actions are doing, in the present, and what they'll lead to in the future. And seriously, if you look at just even like the smallest actions and kind of what those end up turning into in the long term, then there's a lot of stuff that you're doing right now that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and you'll end up stopping. And there's a lot of things that you aren't doing that you should be doing, and you'll probably start up and do those. And again, it might not be the sexiest and it might not be the most exciting, but then down the road it'll lead to a lot more meaning. Like, I would have never imagined that I would have been able to be in a position where not only am I able to buy a house at 24, I'm able to buy literally the nicest house that I could have ever imagined for me personally. Like, it is literally my dream house. Like, it has everything that I could have ever wanted and more. And that would have never happened had I moved out again when I was 18 and been like, you know what, I got to go party it up and I got to go, live my life. What people say that you got to go live your life. Instead, I get to have this, I'm moving into this really nice house. I get to, continue to run this channel that I absolutely love. And it's a business and job that I actually love doing. How many people hate their jobs, right? I don't have that. I don't wake up and go, oh man, I got to work. It's like, I'm excited to do things every single day. And so I get all of that and more. And again, I would have never had that had I made certain choices. And so just seriously look at your choices and set yourself up for the future. Like, love yourself enough so that your future self has something that is of value and positive. And I'll see you guys, because my arm's going to die.